Welcome back to the Mr. T podcast. The notorious city manager of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Imogen Mashazi, has finally appeared at the Madlanga Commission. And guess what? The Madlanga commissioners collapsed her case. She was embarrassed live on camera, fumbling through excuses for years of inaction on horrific allegations of sexual abuse, rape, and misconduct in the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, EMPD. If you're loving this breakdown of the drama, please click that like button and subscribe for more raw takes on South African politics and scandals. Thank you. Now, let's dive into the video clip from today's hearing, December 1st, 2025.
It's not a mabarbar. I've been in the system. I know about these things.
But I'm saying, are you stating it as a fact or as something that you heard?
It's something that I heard, but he will answer and they will come, and if they're called, they can come and testify, those that have been abused. Classical example is about a witness that chief has been suspended for sexual harassment as well as rape. If that is a classical example, she'll come and confirm. But she requested that she wants to come and be interviewed by the commission, but outside camera. She doesn't want to be in camera because of her children and so forth. But she has prepared her file, and I think she has also written to be interviewed by the panel to indicate her treatment under the chief of police. So I will also talk to it when I address the issue of his suspension, how it happened, the letters from the doctors, I've attached them from her doctors, and the letters from the attorneys that represents her. So it is important to know that some of these things, they are not just said in a vacuum or under mabaribari. It is confirmed by a case that is being opened against him, the case of rape, and also there is a protection order against him. And for him to come here and behave as if he's a victim while he's a perpetrator of women abuse, it's a shame, to be honest.
Dr. Mashazi, you speak in paragraph 50 and in your explanation of a wide-scale program.
I want to talk to this one. This one, chief of police being chief of police.
Can I just ask you my question, and then you can speak to what you want to speak to? I started to ask you a question, please. My question is, you speak of a pervasive problem, and in the plural, you say angels, and suggesting improper relationships. Is there a particular reason that you mention only Lieutenant Colonel Tipper, who testified in her testimony, spoke about you or your office at least? You are not mentioning anyone else as part of the crowd of people that you say the chief had improper relationships with.
I want to focus my discussions and my evidence in terms of people who have been here and people who actually made allegations. Tepa, she was one of my protectors at some point, introduced by chief, part of my team of protection. I had 8 males protecting me, and chief withdrew one and introduced Tepa. And these other males were saying, but Mama, your office and your safety is actually questionable. Why do you allow chief to bring this one? She's not going to help us. We need to be combat ready to protect you. Then I asked chief, what is the reason of you? No, she's good. She's one of my angels. That is how he explained. He's one of his angels. And in terms of, if you go to Ekurhuleni, they will tell you about amangilosi. what amangelosi means or angels means in terms of chief's definition. So she is part of the angels here, of
Is
chief's
that-
angels.
Yes, you've said that. You've said she's one of the angels. My question to you is, she's testified against you. She said unflattering things about you. You are not mentioning anyone else by name of those angels. And what are we to make of it, that you speak specifically to someone who's testified against you? And I think you have just said now that, you know, she comes here to pretend she's an angel when in fact she's part of a network of people that are being abused by the chief. It may well be that is so, and I'm not saying that's not so because I don't know any better. It may well be. I'm asking the simple question that you mention her specifically, where you speak in the plural about angels. You're not mentioning anyone else. Is there a particular reason that you mention her and she happens to be someone who testified against you?
Thank you for the question. I'm not mentioning her because she was part of the people who made allegations about me, but I'm speaking about her and confirm because her name is already here, and Chief has actually introduced her to me as one of his angels. That is the reason why I'm mentioning her alone.
Okay. Can I just follow up on that? You also, on my question at least, you say at 50.1, you say it has been widely reported to me that Chief fathered children with subordinates. And in your oral evidence, you say you came to know that there was a problem in EMPD where you're not suggesting Chief is the only one. Chief Mabiyeye was the only one that is guilty of those kind of complaints.
Correct.
You're not suggesting that?
Correct.
Okay, but you're mentioning only him.
I'm mentioning Chief because there's a case about him, about sexual harassment
Yes,
and also rape.
yes. You do
I
discuss
can't mention
that.
others because there was never a case that was brought to my attention about rape or sexual harassment. And I could not, as I indicated when I started that, I could not charge anyone about the practice in EMPD. Instead, as a female accounting officer, I decided to create a program to empower these women.
Okay. Maybe lastly, let me ask, you are the municipal manager at the time.
Yes.
In fact, before that, you were the chief operating officer.
Exactly.
And then you become the municipal manager. In one of those two roles, you become aware that there are problems in EMPD, but you do no investigation. You don't appoint, you have the power to appoint. You don't appoint anyone to look into these serious allegations. You carry on until there's an allegation of the person that you discuss later on. There's a formal complaint, but the rest of the time, you carry on without taking any action to look into these serious allegations that you should be addressing. I expect that the municipal manager takes it seriously enough that if you get this pervasive or this suggestion that it's a systemic problem in the EMPD, a responsible municipal manager would take action to investigate it further, and you don't seem to have done that.
Thank you very much. As I indicated at the beginning of my statement, when I said it was a general comment from a group of women, and there was no one with a formal complaint. Remember, you can't just investigate without a formal complaint, without anyone signing an affidavit or writing a grievance to you. You can't just, you're going to investigate everyone. What I reasonably did as an accounting officer, as a city manager, I had to create a program to deal with the systemic issue. I cannot just investigate people and say, yeah, there is this allegation that you guys, you are abusing these women, they are not promoted and so forth. I did a reasonable thing as an accounting officer to create that platform for women to be promoted and empowered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Dr. Mashazi, if I may. Yes, Chair.
Just before that, it's a follow-up to the questions by my co-commissioner, Commissioner Baloyi. You say it has been widely reported to you. When exactly did you get the reports?
It was, as I indicated, that it was a verbal, when I started as an accounting officer. These things were reported to me by this group of female officers that the chief is fathering.
Please remind me, when did you become the city manager? I know it's here, but...
Yeah.
2016.
Yes.
So in 2016, you hear that Chief Mapie is not only having improper sexual relationships with the women police officers, but is even raping some of them and harassing others sexually, even using coercion on them. I assume that's coercion for purposes of having sex with them? This is, you get to hear this in 2016. And all you do, unless I misunderstand you, so all you do is to create a platform for women to be promoted. That's all you do.
To be empowered, number one, and to be promoted as well. Remember, if there's no formal complaint, how do you start investigating people? That's why I'm referring to the paragraph where I deal with specific sexual harassment, where there's a formal complaint.
Are you suggesting that as a leader you get reports of such horrendous acts by the chief of police? You sit back and fold your arms instead of being proactive. You fold your arms and say, there are no complaints to me. Why can't you be proactive and do the best you can to get to the bottom of the reports that you have received, reports of such horrendous acts by the chief of police?
Maybe it is a foresight from my side, but as an accounting officer, if there's no formal complaint, how do I remember in terms of our processes in council, I must have a formal complaint like I received, that there is this thing happening.
But what was your sense? Wasn't your sense that this was something systemic?
Yes, it was something
it's ongoing. It's ongoing. There are children out of improper sexual relations. There's coercion, meaning those that are not willing to have, even willing perhaps is not a good word in this context. So there's even coercion to have sexual relations with those that will not have sexual relations with him. There are rapes. You just fold your arms, sit and wait for complaints. Is that the way an accounting officer, a chief executive officer should act?
Commissioner, as I indicated that I cannot just from hearsay that there are this thing. I had to wait because there are processes in council. You can't just say there is this general view about an individual, therefore I'm investigating this individual. I must have something in writing that this person has complained about 1, 2, 3. Then I must write a report to council and ask council to give me permission to. I could not unilaterally hearing from them as a group saying there is this thing happening. And I know that as an accounting officer.
Who did you get the reports from?
It was female officers.
Was it the affected women officers?
Affected women officers in the department.
So that's not hearsay. It's people who are affected
but
telling you.
But they must do it in writing.
Sorry, Doctor. Is the affected women telling you that this is happening to us? There's nothing hearsay about that. There's nothing hearsay about
I
that.
take your point.
So basically you did nothing, having received information about such horrendous acts by the Chief of Police. You just sat and did nothing.
I take your point that doing that program, it's not enough from the point of an accounting office. I take your point.
Thank you, Doctor.
I think, Doctor, it's more than the program is not enough. I think it's as specific as you receive word from women who speak to you. Because you raise it to a formal level, they tell you, we have a problem. And it's not just the chief, according to your evidence. They say the men in EMPD, this is what they do. What in fact it is you did nothing about that. Your explanation for doing nothing about it is you say, well, I didn't have any formal written complaints or allegations, but you did have verbal complaints and allegations, and then you did nothing about it. You didn't address those allegations.
I take your point, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perhaps lastly, this is 2016. Did the reports not continue throughout your tenure? The reports of this, what I've referred to as horrendous conduct, did those reports not continue? I would imagine if, as you have accepted, this is something that was systemic, it could not only have been in 2016 when you were appointed municipal manager. The reports must have continued, not so?
Yes, if you look at the evidence of the victim,
yes,
the harassment coercion started in 2012, before I even became the accounting officer.
And did these reports continue throughout your tenure as municipal manager?
Obviously, they continued.
Throughout.
Obviously, they
So,
continued.
meaning from 2016 all the way to 2025.
Yeah, but
You were receiving these reports continuously, and you did nothing about them. Save to create, what did you refer to it? Save to create the platform for them to be promoted, which does not, of course, address the issue we are raising. So throughout, from 2016 to 2025, you are continuously receiving these reports, which tell you that there's a systemic problem, and you do nothing throughout your tenure as municipal manager.
what I did, and I explained, Commissioner, that
Leave out, please.
we have processes in council, and like even now, I struggled to serve the report of Chief of Police in terms of his misconduct. I struggled. I received a complaint.
I'm specific to the systemic problem of the horrendous conduct of the Chief of Police and other senior men within the EMPD who were sexually harassing, raping, coercing with a view to having sexual relations, junior women officers. That's my focus, not other issues which may have arisen and which you may have addressed. That's my focus, and my question is, there is this systemic problem of which you are aware because, as you've admitted, there are continuous reports on it, and you basically do nothing with that issue, that horrendous conduct from 2016 all the way up to the end of July 2025, throughout that period.
Commissioner, I take your point that just doing a program was not enough as an accounting officer while these things were systemic. I take your point.
A more direct answer. So from 2016 to 2025,
yes, I take your point.
You did nothing.
Yes, I take your point.
All right.
Except to create a platform for them.
All right, thank you.
Maybe, Commissioner, we need to understand the processes of council in terms of senior managers. We need to understand that you can't just take a report, because for you to deal with this thing, I must report to council that this is happening around a senior manager. And that report must be supported with a complaint. I know that from my side as an accounting officer, my hands are tied in terms of dealing with some of the issues. That's why I took a soft route of actually creating that program. I must write a report to council and say, Chief did 1, 2, 3, coercing, abusing, sexually harassing people, and so forth, because Chief accounts to me. Junior managers is Chief that must deal with that in the Department of EMPD. But in terms of him as a Section 56 employee, he reports directly to me. He's the only person that I can deal with in the department. So for me to write a report about him that he is doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I must go to council, the very same politicians who are protecting him. I must go there. I'm trying to illustrate that as an accounting officer, your hands are tied, especially when you're a female, are tied in dealing with male chauvinism in local government.
I would understand that if you had done something and had been rebuffed, but for you to sit, fold your arms from 2016 to end of July 2025, I do not understand that at all. If you had done something, I mean, these are very serious allegations, Dr. Mashazi, very serious allegations, and please do not misunderstand us. Do not think that we are defending Chief Mapie and the other senior men that you are making allegations against. No, we are not. But it's more about what did you do about it, on the assumption that the allegations are true. What did you do about it? That's where we are.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you. Perhaps just to close out on that line of questioning, Dr. Mashazi, accepting the extent to which your hands were tied, as you have testified, is it fair then to accept that the pattern of abuse of women persists? There was nothing to stop it, so it persists and probably has gotten worse. Is that what you'd be telling this commission? No, you need to express yourself orally so that the machine can record your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
So it persists and it has worsened since.
I can't say it has worsened. I can say there's improvement immediately after I introduced and empowered them and made them understand that they are not sex objects.
Yes.
They are equally qualified to compete with these males.
Yes.
For positions, and HR processes are pure.
Okay, now, I think it's incumbent upon me to tease out some aspects of your paragraph 50.1. Mm-hmm. As the chair pointed out, these are very serious allegations. The conversation that we've had so far relates to the pattern within the city. But paragraph 50.1 specifically points to Chief Mapie. It's personal, as against him personally. Mm-hmm. Now, for the record, this commission is not out to impugn anyone's name or to judge anyone's sense of morality. Mm. And I would like to believe that neither do you approach this commission with that kind of thinking. Accepting that you do not intend to unnecessarily impugn his name, I then want to unpack 50.1. You say, it has been widely reported to me that Chief Mapie fathered multiple children with subordinates who were vulnerable to his abuse of power. Firstly, you, in response to a question by Commissioner Kumalo, you said it's not mabaribari. It can be substantiated, it's factual. My question to you is, do you know the identities of those juniors with whom Mr. Mapie fathered children? Do you know that as a fact? Or do you accept because it was communicated to you?
Unfortunately, I cannot mention the names of people here, but I know few of them.
Also,
Two of them.
You
I
can
cannot-
establish that fact.
Yes, yes.
And you may do so through your statement, if so your supplementary statement, if so required.
Exactly.
And how many children are we talking about?
I'm not sure about the number.
No.
The number here is said, just read my statement.
I'm at 50.1, your page 8.
Yeah, it said
You say fathers, multiple children with
multiple
subordinate.
children.
Yes.
I never indicated the number. I'm not sure about the number.
At that time it was communicated to you, how many women specifically confirmed this situation? How many?
I
To
do
your
not
recollection?
recall the number.
Was it 2 or 10 or 20?
I do not recall the number.
That bad, doctor?
Thank you.
I'm asking, it's a question. Is it that bad that you can't recall whether it's 2 or 10 or 20?
Remember, ma'am, I'm running 26 departments, and each and every department we have, in police only, we have more than 3,005 officials.
Accept
How
that?
do I remember all these things? I don't remember. I don't recall.
I
And
tease.
obviously,
Sorry.
I cannot be forced to say a number that I don't know.
I appreciate
And
that.
I don't want to lie to the commission, to be honest.
Indeed. I pressed for that because you are not talking about a particular pattern where seniors father children with subordinates. You are speaking of specifically one person. And you have just indicated to the commission that you can give detail regarding those cases in your supplementary. That would mean you refer to specific people who confirmed to you as a matter of fact that it happened to them. But you say you don't remember whether it was 2, 10, or 20. I am more concerned about the second part of that allegation, where this fathering of multiple children is through conduct amounting to sexual harassment, coercion, and rape. So, do I understand you correctly that some of those children were fathered following a rape by Chief Mapie? Is that your statement to the commission?
Can you repeat your statement?
You can't, we can't because you are looking at your phone and you are reading something on your phone, so naturally you will miss many of the things that I say. So we're going to have to make a decision how we run this. You are either with the commission and you are testifying before the commission, or you'd like some time to attend to your phone, which
I'm
is
trying
going
to
to
get
be.
information from my phone.
No, if you
the
need
number.
time to get information, kindly address yourself to the commission and request the time, and the time shall be given to you. But when a question is
Apologies.
posed to you and you distract yourself by attending to your phone, I'm sure you'll accept that it won't particularly work.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's incorrect, and I apologize for that.
What is incorrect?
For me to be attending to my phone
Okay.
while the
No, sir.
session is on.
Apology accepted. The question was, the last part of that particular paragraph suggests that Chief Mapie fathered some, I take it, of these multiple children with subordinates through the act of rape. Is that what you're communicating?
Yeah, there's a rape case opened against him.
From which a child was born?
I beg your pardon?
From which a child was born?
There was no child born,
Okay.
but there's a rape case in terms of the testimony that is part of my bundle.
That's a clarification I sought. So I
Yeah.
should not read sexual harassment, coercion, and rape to relate to the fathering of children. These are two separate allegations you made.
Exactly.
Okay. And before we get there, because we will get there, that's what you call your question 13. The example you give in your statement is a complaint by one subordinate. Dare I ask you whether there are more, if you know for a fact that there are more? And how many? Or you don't recall?
I can confirm that there's one who came through.
Okay.
As I indicated that a group of them came and complained, but because there was no written statement and there was nothing, I was unable to act upon it. As I indicated that there are processes and my hands are tied in terms of reporting such behaviors.
Okay, I'll accept that. Now I want to turn to the allegation at 50.2. And once again, it's directed specifically at Chief Mapie and does not, or the Chief of Police, and I take it it's still Chief Mapie, right? The Chief at the time. And once again, it is not an allegation to senior managers within the EMPD. It is specifically to Chief Mapie. My question here is, you say You accuse him of defeating the ends of justice arising from repeated instances in which complaints of misconduct reports were not acted upon, were actively suppressed. You see where I'm reading, 50.2.
Yes.
So, you have complaints and misconduct reports that are not acted upon or were actively suppressed. I take it by Chief Mapia. As the city manager, what did you do about that? Or were your hands tied again?
No, this time around, Chief Mapea was involved in an accident in 2014 where he broke his arm. And in terms of what happened, he stays in Brakpan. I had to go and see him. He was driving under the influence of alcohol, and the scene was cleared. And IPID never investigated this. And I think Advocate Kemu will talk more about the cases. Secondly, there was another accident. We'll get the case numbers, we'll send in terms of our statement, where Chief Mapea was also involved in an accident under the influence of alcohol. And I am told that a child died out of that accident. And those were never... Second, the third one, Chief Mapea, there was a woman whom he pushed, assaulted, and that woman opened the case, and subsequently, IP took the case from the city, and that woman was forced to withdraw the case, and she made a statement. The fourth one is about the rape case of the victim who requested to be interviewed by this commission. The rape case was opened in June, and Chief received a protection order. I think, I've forgotten the month, will indicate in our protection order against, because he was continuously going to the vicinity or to the area or to the place of this particular victim. She ended
Sorry
up,
to interject, you said June, what year, please?
it's 22, I'm not sure, we'll get the dates.
Okay.
But the victim will talk to the story herself. She continuously went to the area. But what is important in terms of defeating the ends of justice, and Chief working closely with some law enforcement agencies, that nothing happens to him. It is actually concerning that the rape case is opened and nothing happens to him. The poor victim is suffering and nothing is being said. In-state council is actually interested in ensuring that Chief is cleaned up.
So
The Chief is actually cleared from this thing,
Chief, yes.
because it was a battle for him to be suspended anyway. So my issue here is that if we have support from law enforcement agencies and from politicians, it means you are lucky. And lonely voices like ours, we do not get any support from anything.
Now,
Just a moment. Dr. Mashazi,
Yes,
just so that I don't understand you. What is the purpose of this section of your statement?
The purpose
I'm
is...
trying to make sense of it because you have been invited to this commission to respond to allegations made against the Ekurhuleni Metro and EMPD and the extent to which you played a role in all those things. And then there is this section in your statement, and I'm not criticizing you. It is your statement. For my benefit, I'm just trying to understand. Is the purpose of this section to say that we must not believe the people who gave evidence here because they are also bad people, they have done the things you have mentioned in the statement? I'm trying to understand what the purpose of this section of the affidavit is and what we as the commission should do with it. So if you can just assist me there, and it's not a criticism, it's just so that I understand why we are dealing with the things that are mentioned in this specific section.
The purpose, obviously, is to highlight the behavior of the chief of police He came here as a victim. And I don't know whether he disclosed, because I was not listening to the commission, he disclosed that he was suspended for sexual harassment. I don't know if he disclosed that. So it's to bring to the attention of the commission that in as much as he is suspended or he appeared here and he made allegation, for me, he's an aggrieved person. He's an aggrieved person. And that's why I'm making this statement that an aggrieved person would say anything to tarnish one's reputation or legacy. That is the purpose of the paragraph.
Thank you. Now I understand.
But, sorry.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah. I mean, in the back of that answer where you say you're telling us all of this to show us he's an aggrieved person, but your evidence is nothing was done to him from these things that you list. He got away with it. He used your words, he used law enforcement, and he's got counsel protecting him. So according to your evidence or your testimony, he suffered no consequence for the list of things that you are giving, except the suspension in 2024, and we'll come to that. But you've listed a number of things where you say there was no consequence. So how are these evidence or proof of grievance, these things that you are listing in paragraph 50, how can they serve that purpose if there was no consequence to him?
I think we discussed the issue of consequence management from my side, and I've explained that my hands are tight or were tight because I've been blocked through and through to deal with him. The process of dealing with senior managers, it is in the Systems Act. Senior Managers Systems Act, I think, is Section 56 of the Municipal Systems Act, where you are required to get an investigation report or an allegation first. And I write the report to the municipal council with all the attachment to council, for council to take a decision, because he's appointed by council through Section 56. So my duty was to write the report to council with all the attachment, but by then I did not have attachment. Hence, it is viewed, which I accept, that I did nothing. But here, I'm trying to, as I answered Commissioner, that the purpose of this is to bring to the attention of the Commission that Chief came here to actually air his grievance more than anything.
Okay.
But he has a lot to answer. But it is not for this Commission to run a grievance process or to run a DC for individuals.
Yes. No, you are correct. It's not a place to run a DC, but you have put this stuff before us. So I think in fairness to you, we give you the opportunity to explain it where we don't understand. But also I think in fairness to the people that you're naming, they need to know what it is you're saying about them. Which brings me to this. You say about 50.2, you say in 2014, he was involved in a motor vehicle collision where he drove drunk. At the time you were the COO. Was this matter as a Section 56 employee or appointment, the chief, was this brought to the attention of the council, and is there a record of it?
It was never brought to the attention of council.
Okay. And then you say there was another incident, again, drunken driving. What year was that? The second one?
I'm not sure. We'll get the information. As we said, we are going to substitute our statement.
I can still ask my question. Did you bring this second incident to the attention of the council as the city manager?
Of the council.
Yes.
Because I don't have the data, I don't want to respond much to that. We'll actually amend our statement, is then that we can talk to that.
But you will remember surely sitting there whether you submitted a report to council or not. You may not remember date, but you would remember what you did about the first incident vis-a-vis council, what you did about the second incident. Surely that you must be able to remember.
Remember, accidents, they're reported, they're actually accident of police officers and brutality of police officers. It is the area of operation of IPID. IPID was supposed to do the investigation. And after the investigation, then, because he reports to me directly, they should give me a report and I should have done something about that. So if the report is not forthcoming from IPID, I cannot go to council with empty hands and say, Chief did 1, 2, 3. That's why I'm saying to you and pleading with you that let me get the full report and then we amend our statement.
Okay, I accept that, but can we at least agree that driving under the influence of alcohol and damaging council property is disciplinable conduct, which falls within the municipality's remit? You accept that?
2014, I was not the accounting officer.
Yes, the next
And
incident?
I agree with you that rests with the council.
Okay. And the next one is the incident where you say he pushed a woman who broke her arm or something and ended up laying a complaint, I think you said, about her. Did you report? Did you do anything about that? It sounds again like disciplinable conduct. As his manager, did you do anything about it?
Yes, it was reported to council, and IPID quickly took the report that they're investigating the case. Same as the second one for rape. To date, we do not have a report from IPID.
Okay. So is it the position or is it your testimony that even conduct that on the face of it is disciplinable, is a misconduct in terms of the code of discipline and employment contracts, even that kind of conduct, you don't act on it until IPID tells you you must discipline. You wait for IPID.
No. Remember, the sexual harassment and pushing of that pregnant woman, it was part of my report to council for chief to be disciplined. Those two were part of my report. I did my job as an accounting officer.
And we should be able to get a copy of your report to council.
Of my report to council, yes. One of the reports is here for his suspension. So I think it's also important to get, I wanted to get my original item to the mayoral committee.
Yes.
To show the difference in terms of their decision and what I propose. Unfortunately, I can't get access to those documents.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just on that score, before we break for tea, you reference 4 cases. I'm correct that you say all of them were reported to IPID? No, the mic doesn't know when you're nodding your head, Dr. Imogen Mashazi.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So my question simply is, perhaps to invite you in the supplementary affidavit or statement to provide further detail regarding specifically these 4 cases. And my interest in them lies in the fact that the IPID failed to act thereupon. So it assists if we have the detail, then we can follow up with IPID to determine why it is these matters were not acted upon, although they were formally brought to IPID's attention. Would you be able to do that for us in the supplementary statement?
We'll try if we get information from council.
And on that score, I don't know, sitting here, whether you are able to, or perhaps in a day or 2 after you've conferred with your attorneys, in regard to the request I have made, whether you are able to identify documentation that you would potentially need to address that request. And if your attorneys could furnish that to us ASAP, and we see if we can obtain the documents on your behalf from the city.